Hey everybody, Paul here with Starseed Paranormal. I'm making a little bit of a different video today to address someone on YouTube. This channel is from Nicky, ETS Kill Gangster Stalkers. Now, this individual trolls the internet and finds people's videos and puts them on her channel with these crazy sticker faces and comments on the screen. It's really bizarre and childish. But she goes on to always call these people they're scapegoating, they're cultists, they're pedos, pedophiles. And I know a few people that do paranormal research that she's done their videos, and she's done a few of mine. And, I generally don't care about this kind of thing. She doesn't have that many subscribers or that many views on her videos. But I'm addressing, not the idea of her putting my videos on her channel with her bizarre childlike uh, overlays that she puts, over the videos. I'm addressing her overall attitude, personality, approach, because this kind of thing, this kind of attitude is very prevalent in the world today. And it comes from a very toxic religious background. So I want to address that. And I want to address you, Nikki, in this video because I know you'll watch this video. And so we're going to get to that in a moment. But first, I want to show everyone an example of her videos, the kind of things that she does. And this is one of my videos that she screenshotted and put all these bizarre, whatever, statements and stickers and cat faces and fart sounds. It's very, very childish. Very. The videos are very poorly done, but we'll get into all that in a minute. For now, just. So as I said, I wanted to address Nikki in this video, and not because she's putting my videos on her very bizarre channel, but I really don't care what people think or people say. But again, addressing this attitude where we think it's okay and that it's a good thing to do, to hide behind our computer screen and make these nonsensical videos or point fingers at others, like we're some kind of master, like we're above other people. So, Nikki, I really don't know how old you are, since you've never shown your face on camera. I'm hoping you're not uh, above the ages of like 18, 19, 20, or younger, because the videos are extremely immature and even very incoherent in a lot of ways. So let's first address the quality of your videos. Uh, you know, I don't even know where to begin. What kind of a person, is posting other people's videos with fart sounds and cat heads and, little figurines marching across the screen with these, like insulting sayings, calling people pedos and rapists and, all this sort of thing. Um, I don't get where that's mature. I don't get where that's spiritually mature at all. And it really lends to the question is that, who are you? Are you just a child with nothing better to do? Because that's what the quality of the video, your videos seem to show. Are you someone who is just that self righteous? And this is the best idea you could come up with to, uh, tout your own opinion and rail against people you disagree with. I would even go so far as to say, and not an insulting way, is that do you have a drug problem or do you have a mental illness? I mean, Paul Faircloth posed that question, someone you also made a lot of videos about, and it's a reasonable question based on the things you're writing in the text on your videos, and the bizarre memes and stickers and cartoons. Uh, it doesn't seem rational. It doesn't seem sane. Uh, I have to ask, is this the joke of a child? Someone just trying to have a laugh? If not, if this is serious, uh, I would say you, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, you're definitely someone in need of help, because there's obviously some kind of, you know, drug use that's altering your perception and your judgment, um, or there's some kind of chemical imbalance, bipolar, could be many different things that are, causing you to think that making these kind of videos is actually a good thing, or that it's educational in any way, or that it makes a point in any way. Because those of us who watch your videos and talk to one another through YouTube, we have no clue what the hell you're saying. It's all this gibberish about, everybody's a pedophile, everybody's a rapist, everybody's a liar. Uh, we're talking to extraterrestrials, on their stolen technology on shortwave, and they don't like it, and they're going to come and destroy the earth because God gave them permission to do so. We have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Which comes to the next point. The question I would ask: are you in some kind of religious cult, or have you just read so many bizarre books and articles in your life that you've actually indoctrinated yourself with some very bizarre beliefs about God, about a lot of things? If these videos are serious, there's a couple questions I would ask first and foremost. Is A, what the hell are you talking about? B, do you understand some of the words you're using? Your Every one of your videos, including the ones that you've done of mine, everybody's scapegoating. Do you understand what that means? Scapegoating is doing something wrong and then blaming someone else for it. You're looking for a scapegoat. I didn't do it, they did it. You're passing the blame and looking to get someone else in trouble for something you did that was wrong. I don't see in anybody's videos that, including my own, uh, that you're doing all your cartoon heads and fart sounds and snoring and all that nonsense. I don't see anybody blaming anybody for anything. So where's the scapegoating? Do you know the definition of the word? Because you're using it improperly. Uh, there's not even a context in these videos of mine or Paul Faircloth or AP Paranormal or others where you could use the word and say that person's a scapegoat, because there's no evidence they've done anything wrong, and they're not blaming anybody else for their wrongdoing. So I would suggest, if these videos are for real, A, you get a dictionary, because uh, your definition of the word, the way you're using scapegoating, um, it doesn't have any place in the context of anybody's videos that you're posting. Number two, calling people pedophiles and rapists. And there's some woman that does makeup tutorials, or she puts on her makeup while she has conversations about things that are going on in her life. And I've seen videos you've done of her where you accused her of, sexually molesting her own son. She's a pedophile. She's a rapist. How do you come to these conclusions about these things? If this is serious, then you've got a serious problem. To actually look at people on YouTube and there's something there you might disagree with or you might not like about their videos and come up with all these assumptions about people. So if you're some religious zealot that's making these videos and this is supposed to be real and it's not a joke, then wow, the God and the Jesus that you're sitting here, bashing everybody with a hammer. Whatever happened to thou shalt not judge? Whatever happened to do not judge falsely or accuse falsely? Whatever happened to take the block of wood out of your own eye before you take the splinter out of someone else's? So you got a serious, serious religious problem if these videos are real, because you're saying some really nasty stuff about people you have absolutely no proof of. And I know for me and Paul Faircloth and AP Paranormal, nobody nobody on those channels are scapegoating. Nobody's a rapist. Nobody's a pedo. Nobody's on there making shit up just to try to fool the masses. I don't think you understand ITC research, where the birth of it was in Thomas Edison's journals. He talked about creating a spirit phone because he believed that when we died, the atoms of a person contained their memory, and with a certain technology, we could communicate with the deceased. And later on, that got into people using radios and tape recorders and a lot of the things you see modern day people using. And these are very smart people or people that stumbled upon it accidentally. One individual recording bird sounds, and he started getting voices on his tape recorder, and he couldn't understand where they were coming from. Hence, the first EVPs. There's a whole history lesson behind what we do, and you don't seem to understand. You're saying people are in a cult, or they're worshiping the dead, whatever it is you believe. You're way out in outer space with what you're saying if your videos are serious. Um, you're way out in the weeds with a lot of things you say. You seem to don't understand a lot of things. You don't even seem to understand the teachings of Jesus or the Bible, which you bash so hardly in your little written commentary on people's videos. You're very judgmental. You're not sitting back and taking the block of wood out of your own eye before trying to remove the splinter or the speck in someone else's, hiding behind your camera saying these things about people. If this is not a joke, you really should be ashamed of yourself. And I mean that honestly. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you're not on drugs, if you don't have a mental illness that needs treatment, and again, I don't say those things disparagingly, because there's a lot of people that need help with substance abuse or undiagnosed, mental illnesses. These are things that are very serious. But if you're not struggling with any of these things, and you're of sound mind and body, and these are the kinds of things you say about people, the kinds of videos you make, you you really should be ashamed of yourself. It's actually despicable. And I say this as someone who truly believes in God, and my idea of God may not be yours, but I believe in God. I feel very close to God since I was a young child. And when I see people like you putting up self-righteous, toxic, cultic, ugly videos like that and bringing God's name into it, it infuriates me that you think God is some ugly, rotten, hateful, mean, disgusting, name calling piece of garbage, like some of the people in this world that sit back on their little throne, hide behind their computer, and judge everybody else based on race, religion, creed, color, whatever. So you ought to be ashamed. when I see someone representing God in that way, it angers me because I look at God as like a family member. That's like taking my most precious family member that I'm the closest to, my best friend in the world and the universe, and dragging their name through the mud and making them seem like a monster or some disgusting man, making him sound like you, and he's not like you. Trust me, he's nothing like you or anybody who sits back and makes this kind of commentary about other people. And if you think he is, if your videos are serious and for real, and you think that's how God is, if you think he's like you, if you think he is represented by your videos that you put out, then you've got the wrong God. And may I even add to that, you would be the one who would actually be worshiping the devil that you accuse everybody else of worshiping. Because then, if these videos are serious, your God is ugly and disgusting and mean and evil. And you need to do a serious check on yourself because it's wrong what you're doing. And this kind of thing turns a lot of people away from God. I was a fundamentalist Christian. I was an evangelical Christian for many, many years. And I met so many people in the churches like you that in 2000, at the end of 1999, really, I walked away. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the ugly. I couldn't take the judging. I couldn't take the rotten things that came out of these people's mouths. I couldn't take, just because, myself personally, I watched movies that weren't Christian movies. So all these people gathered around me. Oh, are you sure you're saved? Are you sure you have Jesus? You watch the Rambo movie or a George Romero movie? Are you sure Jesus is in your heart? All this bullshit. And this is what turns people away from God. And trust me, there is one thing I know is that we all take what we do back to God when we die. So if these videos are for real, I would ask myself, is this what you want to take back to God? This toxic, cultic, ugly, judging, name calling, disgusting videos that you put out, the way you think about people? Is that what goes on in your mind and in your heart? There's too many people like that in the world right now. You're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Just look at the world. Look at America right now. Look what Christianity has turned into with its crazy political conspiracy theory nonsense, hating everybody, applauding when people of a different skin color or religion are persecuted. Yes, let's do that in the name of God. What are we? What are we, savages? We think this is what God wants. You think that's what he wants? You're part of the problem if this is what you truly promote. And I really honestly pity you and feel sorry for you when you take all that back to God, because he's not going to be a, a male spiritual version of Nicky with a crown on his head, sitting on a golden throne going, yes, all those pedophiles. Yes, you did right. Come on into the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be a very different story. Because when you stand in the presence of that light and that love, and he sees your soul for what it is. Oops, sorry about that. Need I say more? I'll say no more, because I can only speculate what that will be like, but it's not going to be pretty. People like myself, people like Paul Faircloth, and many others that do the paranormal research, and we look for that proof and that connection of something greater than this physical world. That's why I do it. I've experienced a lot of things in my life that I cannot explain. Some of it a little scary, some of it very positive and loving and guiding. And so if I can do any kind of research or say something that makes one person out there reevaluate their life and know that there's more to life than this material world that everybody puts their faith in, the money, the cars, the house, the job, sex, whatever it might be, sports, politics. If I can make one person realize, geez, there really is more than just all these constructs that we're caught up in, then I've done my job. I don't want to tell people what to believe or how to believe. I can only share my experience, what I know, the perspective that I'm coming from, or any evidences I get in a recording of something beyond this physical world. And if you think that's sinful, if you think that's rotten, if you think the way to bring people to God is for me to get on camera and start calling people pedos and cult members and rapists and accuse them of molesting their own children, I wouldn't do that if someone paid me to do it. If God was really that way and asked me to do it, I wouldn't do it, because I believe in goodness and kindness and peace and love. And a God like that wouldn't be worth worshiping. A God like that wouldn't be worthy of worshiping, because he wouldn't be God. He would be something else. He would be a monster. He would be nothing but an amalgamation of all the rotten worst parts of humanity wrapped into some kind of spirit form, claiming to be the one true God. So even if a God like that asked me to be like you, Nicky, I wouldn't do it. So for those of us who are out here on our path, and we're seeking and we're looking, we're trying to find proofs, we're trying to do something positive for people, just looking to make our own connection, I'd rather be one of those people than someone who's sitting around in a church or sitting around my house with the Bible in my lap all the time, looking for verses that that tell me that it's okay to be a piece of rotten garbage to other people, because that's the way a lot of modern day Christians and religious people use the Bible. Never mind what Jesus taught. Let's dig back into that Old Testament and find the ugliest shit we can, just so we can be the rottenest, dirtiest piece of crap we can to other people, and then say, well, it's in the book. No, thank you. That's not for me. So I hope you'll reevaluate yourself and think about what you're doing. Because like I said, when I see people dragging God through the mud like that, trying to shape him in their image and make him out to be some ugly, anthropomorphic, human, hateful thing, a monster, it angers me. And and I know I'm swearing a little bit in this video, but it does, it makes me mad and it pisses me off. And people can say what the hell ever they want. But I know there's been a loving presence around me that I used to talk to before I was even 5 years old. And that's what I understand and know to be God. And if anybody comes, and religion almost destroyed that for me. And for many years it did, and it took me a long time to get back, believing in their ugly, wrathful, mean, violent God. So anybody who tries to destroy that or take that away or present another image of God to people, this ugly version that so many people have of God, I find it utterly disgusting. And I don't know how any of you live with yourselves. So I'll say no more about that. If your videos, your very poor, immature videos, are for real, then I feel sorry for you. And I would almost hope that you're someone with an addiction problem or an undiagnosed mental condition. Because if you're of sane mind and body, and this is what you're putting out of your own free will, your own volition, you think this is good, you think this is right, this incoherent, ugly, poorly put together nonsense with ugly things written on the screen about people. If you're doing that of your own sane mind and decision, I would venture to say you don't have God in your life at all. You have a delusion of something you think is God, but it's either your own ego or it's something else. So I'm going to close this video out now, and I hope you'll reevaluate yourself. I hope you'll watch this whole thing and actually, take a minute to look in the mirror. Take that block of wood out of your own eye before you try to take the speck out of someone else's.